Oh, guys, I am so sorry here. I made a huge mistake in the last tutorial. I said that we wanted to animate the cube going from point A to point B to point C, and we put our keyframes in there. But I realize now that was actually completely wrong. That was not what we wanted to do at all. What we actually needed to do was we needed to go from point A to point C and then to point B. So we have a completely reverse way. This is a huge. This is terrible. But it's actually kind of funny because what I want to talk about in this tutorial is when you experience problems like this. Let's say that you you put your keyframes down and then you realize that you put one keyframe down too soon, or you put it in the wrong order, like we've done here. Does that mean we just have to start all over again, or is there an easier way to do it? So in this tutorial, I'm going to introduce you to what's known as the Blender DopeSheet, I think they call it. The DopeSheet. So we can go up here, the corner here, change the outliner to the DopeSheet. Okay, and let's just see what we have going on here. I'll make it bigger. Okay, so we have these diamond shapes here, 3 diamond shapes. And if you followed along in the last tutorial, we put down 3 keyframes. And here they are in our dope sheet. So what we can actually do is we can manipulate these. So, and this is going to be really important in the next tutorial. So when we animate our minifig. So that's why I'm doing this tutorial here. So yeah, in our example, we are starting here at point A. We put it at point B and then to point C. We actually want it to go straight to point C. So if we go over here, we can see that these keyframes, this one in particular, corresponds to what I'm calling point C. So we want these to be in front of point B. Okay, so what we can do is we can manipulate these keyframes kind of like they're just Blender objects. So select them, they go yellow, and that will show that they're selected. And then we can hit G, and now we're grabbing it, and it automatically moves it one keyframe by one keyframe. So we can move it just about there. Then what we can do is we can go in and we can select our other keyframes there. Again, hit G, and we can just grab it and move it over there. So now what we've done is it's going to start point A, point C, point B. Now, a little bit of the reason why I'm showing you this tutorial is in our next tutorial we're going to be animating a minifig, and we're going to do what's called a walk cycle. So we're going to put down keyframes that gives the minifig a cycle, okay? But we don't want to, let's say the guy walks for 10 miles. We don't want to animate each one of his steps. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be selecting keyframes that we put down. And I'll just show you kind of, we're going to be looping. So I'm going to show you kind of what a loop is like just here. So hit A on all these. Hit A while you're in this dope sheet, and then hit Shift D. And if you have all these keyframes selected, you've now just duplicated them. And we can drag them. And if we put it about, let me see, let me do my math here. It should have been 48, so we want about 72. What we now have is a loop. So this is where our previous animation ended, but now it's going to start going back to A. And it's going to loop like that. You hit Alt A, you can see the loop. So basically what we're doing in this tutorial is we've reused the animation that we put down in our last tutorial. So instead of having to, grab our bone, put the keyframes back in, we're just reusing. We're copying. And that's actually a really important concept in animation is if you can copy something and reuse it, I mean, it's such an intensive time. Your time is limited. So any time that you can copy, it's really important. And we're going to see that very clearly in our next tutorial. But before we get there, I just wanted you guys to be aware of the manipulation of keyframes. I don't want to have to be explaining that in the next tutorial. Alright, this was kind of a brief one, but I hope you found it interesting, and I know this is kind of basic stuff, and you're like, oh, we're just moving a cube around. Well, what's so exciting about that? But really, this is kind of the important stuff, and not to say my videos are amazing, but before you can get to that level, you have to understand this stuff. So, we're going to be animating our minifig in the next video, and that should be cool. Thanks guys for watching.